Hey everyone, and welcome back to Foundations of Self. So glad you're here with us. This is the show where, we just dive into what truly builds and also what can sometimes break our inner world. I'm Isabella, and I'm just so excited to chat today.
And I'm Jasmine. It's absolutely brilliant to be here. Now today, we're actually diving into a pretty massive topic, isn't it? It's often overlooked, but it's so vital. What truly happens when you don't have self-love, or really self-compassion, as your absolute foundation? What are the genuine long-term risks? And Isabella, this is the really juicy bit, I think. Are there any pros or surprising upsides to having lower self-regard? It's a provocative question, isn't it?
Ooh, that is such a good question, Jasmine. I think a lot of people just sort of assume, oh, self-love, yeah, it's obvious. But you're right. Having a really shaky or even a totally missing foundation of it can seriously impact your thoughts, your emotions, even your daily life. And I just feel like people don't always talk about what that truly looks like in reality. It's not just a fuzzy feeling.
Absolutely, Isabella. So before we really go any further, it's crucial, I think, to define what we actually mean when we say self-love. For our discussion, we're truly talking about self-compassion. And that's the gentle, very accepting relationship with yourself, especially when things, just go wrong. It's a concept so well studied by the incredible psychologist Dr. Kristin Neff. She actually defines self-compassion as treating yourself with kindness, recognizing your shared humanity, which is a huge point, and being truly mindful when you're facing your own personal flaws. It's quite profound, really.
Right. And I love that distinction, Jasmine, because that's totally different from what we typically call self-esteem, right? Which is, it's more about evaluating your worth. Self-esteem, it can totally go up or down depending on your success or social approval or even just, comparing yourself to others. And what Neff and her colleague Ruth Vonk found in this really big study, they showed that self-compassion is actually more stable over time than self-esteem. It's less tied to all that external validation, which is honestly a game changer.
It really is a game changer, isn't it? That distinction, I think, honestly, it just sets the stage. Because when someone truly lacks that self-love or self-compassion, they might lean so heavily on, self-esteem or heck, even self-criticism, which, that has its very own set of trade-offs. And those aren't always positive, are they?
So, Jasmine, let's just jump right into it. What are some of those real, tangible risks when self-love isn't your foundation? You mentioned trade-offs, and I'm curious, what does that actually look like for someone day to day?
Oh, Isabella, there are quite a few, honestly, and some are genuinely serious. One of the biggest downsides, based on Dr. Neff's work, is emotional instability and self-worth fluctuation. Without self-compassion, your self-worth can swing so dramatically. Self-esteem often hinges on external approval, so a poor day or even a small failure can really shake you to your core. Neff's research clearly shows self-compassion offers far more emotional resilience and a steadier sense of self-worth than self-esteem alone ever could.
Wow. So it's not just about feeling bad, it's about an unstable foundation, right? And that connects to another big one, the higher risk of self-criticism, shame, and honestly, mental health issues. Without that inner kindness, failure or imperfection immediately triggers really harsh inner criticism. And that self-judgment, it fuels rumination, anxiety, and depression. Neff's research links self-compassion to reduced anxiety and depression because it replaces that self-judgment, which is so important.
And speaking of that lack of acceptance, Isabella, it leads directly to increased social comparison and what we call ego defensiveness. Neff and Vonk found that low self-compassion or unstable self-esteem correlates with far more social comparison. You know, always looking over your shoulder, checking what others are doing. And it links to a greater need for cognitive closure, essentially needing to feel right and being pretty unwilling to tolerate uncertainty. That's a tough way to live, always measuring yourself against everyone else.
Oh, that makes total sense. Like, if you don't feel solid inside, you're always looking outside to gauge yourself, right? And I bet that totally ties into poorer coping with mistakes and failures. Like, if you lack self-love, making a mistake can trigger so much shame or guilt, or even like self-punishment instead of just learning. How can you grow if you're just beating yourself up, you know?
Exactly. It's such a vicious cycle. Neff argues that self-compassion provides this wonderful safe base to acknowledge error, take responsibility, and then genuinely grow, rather than just hiding from it or constantly defending. People with low self-compassion often avoid risks or new challenges. Why? Because of that deep fear of failure, coupled with a complete lack of a forgiving inner voice. It's truly debilitating, honestly.
So, we've talked about the emotional and mental toll, but does this lack of self-love, does it affect our physical well-being too? Are there actual physical health and self-regulatory risks that come into play, Jasmine?
Oh, absolutely, Isabella. It's all so interconnected. Time magazine actually cited research linking self-compassion to healthier lifestyle behaviors. We're talking better sleep, healthier eating, more consistent exercise, all those crucial things. Conversely, without self-compassion, you might simply neglect self-care. You could dwell on failures or engage in unhealthy coping mechanisms, which, just perpetuate that cycle of negativity. It's a domino effect, truly.
That makes so much sense. If you don't value yourself, why would you take care of your body, right? And what about our connections with others? Does missing self-love lead to less authentic relationships or connections?
It absolutely does. According to PsychAlive, people who cultivate self-compassion tend to have far more caring relationship behaviors. They show less anger, more emotional intelligence, and just better connection overall. Without that, low self-love can lead to defensiveness, less vulnerability, and sadly, far more relational conflict. So you're right, Isabella. Lacking self-love doesn't just hurt your internal life. It affects how you connect with others, how you handle stress, and how stable your very sense of self truly is. Now, Isabella, here's that provocative question we touched on earlier. Can there actually be upsides when self-love isn't strongly developed? Short answer, yes, in some very narrow ways. But there are incredibly important caveats we just have to acknowledge first, right?
Ooh, this is fascinating. I can totally see people thinking, well, if I'm hard on myself, it makes me better. So tell me, what are these pros that aren't really pros?
Exactly. So first point, motivation from criticism or self-pressure. Some people with low self-compassion but really high self-criticism, they push themselves relentlessly. They might achieve a lot because they're genuinely afraid of failure, or they just constantly feel they're never good enough. This pressure can certainly drive performance, especially in competitive environments, right? However, this drive comes at a serious cost. It's fragile. As Neff's work suggests, self-esteem-based motivation is less stable and relies heavily on external successes or approval. It's not truly sustainable, is it?
So it's like a temporary burst from a negative fuel source, right? Like you're running on fumes rather than a full tank. That makes a lot of sense.
And what about like self-improvement through guilt or shame? Does that count as a pro sometimes, even if it's not ideal?
Well, yes, Isabella. A person lacking self-love might use guilt or shame as a spur for change. Some theories argue negative self-evaluation can trigger behavior change. But again, without a compassionate base, this change is often fear or self-punishment driven, which, may not be sustainable or emotionally healthy long-term. It's a very brittle sort of progress.
So it's like you might get something done, but at what cost to your inner peace, right? And what about like developing strong defenses, heightened vigilance, or skepticism towards others because you don't have that self-love?
Ah, yes, heightened vigilance and defensive strength. Without an internal soft place, people develop incredibly strong defenses. They might become very self-reliant, hyper-aware, or skeptical of others. This can sometimes help avoid being hurt, but it often severely limits genuine connection, doesn't it? These pros may superficially look like gains, but what's truly underneath is usually stress, instability, or just pure fear. It's not truly beneficial. Self-love actually provides a secure base to grow from, not just drive from constant anxiety. Right. So, given all those risks we've talked about, Isabella, why does building self-love, or rather self-compassion, truly matter? What does research tell us about its benefits? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm super curious about the flip side. Like, what are we gaining when we actually nurture this part of ourselves? Well, one of the first, most powerful benefits is emotional resilience and well-being. According to Neff's work, self-compassion correlates with greater life satisfaction, optimism, personal initiative, and just overall emotional resilience. It's truly amazing. Her 2023 review in the Annual Review of Psychology describes a 6-element model of self-compassion: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness, and their opposites, of course, all of which, unequivocally support mental health. It's not just a feeling, it's a robust psychological construct.
Wow. So it's like a proactive way to build yourself up, not just react to challenges. And you mentioned stability earlier. Does self-compassion give you like a more stable sense of self-worth than just self-esteem? Oh, absolutely, Isabella. It really does. As we mentioned earlier, Neff and Vong's study clearly showed that self-compassion produced far more stable feelings of self-worth over time than self-esteem alone. So a less reactive self-worth means you're just less vulnerable to life's inevitable ups and downs, which is just so liberating, isn't it? It's like having, a steady anchor within yourself. And then there's better health and self-regulation. Research, including work reported by Time, actually links self-compassion with better health behaviors, more consistent exercise, better sleep, and more effective stress management. Also, Neff has noted that self-compassionate people, they take responsibility for their mistakes, but they don't wallow. They correct course thoughtfully, which is just incredibly healthy.
That's amazing. So it's not just about like feeling good mentally, but it actually translates into taking better care of your physical self and even like handling mistakes in a healthier way. That's really powerful. And what about our relationships, Jasmine? Does self-compassion actually make us better partners or friends? Like improved relationships and connections?
Oh, absolutely, Isabella. Self-compassion fosters far more caring, supportive interactions. People with it show less anger, more emotional intelligence, and genuinely stronger connection. Because self-compassion reduces defensiveness, it helps you show up more authentically and vulnerably in relationships. It's like, when you're kind to yourself,
you're naturally kinder to others. And crucially, it helps in resisting narcissism and comparison. Neff's research indicates that high self-esteem without compassion often leads to narcissism and a need to compare. Self-compassion, on the other hand, doesn't require you to feel better than others. It promotes humility, acceptance, and a deep inner security. It's truly foundational for healthy relating.
Wow. So it's like if you're truly secure within yourself, you don't need to put others down or compare yourself. You can just be present and authentic. That's such a beautiful outcome. Okay, Jasmine, this has been so insightful. So for someone listening who realizes they lack self-love or self-compassion, what can they do? Where do we even begin? What are some evidence-based suggestions?
That's the absolute best question, Isabella. So point 1, and it's a big one, practice self-compassion exercises. Try the 3 core components of self-compassion: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. According to Neff, you can start by gently recognizing when you're suffering, reminding yourself that suffering is part of being human, and just being mindfully present. There are guided meditations, self-compassion writing exercises, and so much more on selfcompassion.org, which is Dr. Neff's own site. It's brilliant. And then, related to that, cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness truly helps you notice when you're being self-critical rather than being totally immersed in it. This awareness is absolutely critical for building self-compassion, It's like taking a step back and observing yourself with a kinder eye.
Okay, so actively trying those exercises and just being aware of my thoughts, not getting totally swept away. That makes so much sense.
Precisely, Isabella. And then a third practical step, reframe your self-talk. When you make a mistake, practice responding the way you would to a dear friend. Instead of, I messed up, I'm worthless, try something like, that was hard. Many people struggle. I can learn from this. This kind of self-kindness is truly at the very heart of self-compassion. It's a game changer for your inner dialogue. And then a fourth point, build connection and community. Recognizing our shared humanity, that everyone makes mistakes, helps counter isolation. Self-compassion isn't self-pity. It's a reminder we're not alone. Talking with a therapist, coach, or support group can absolutely deepen this work, do you know?
Wow. So it's not just being kind to yourself, but also remembering that you're part of something bigger, right? That sense of common humanity. And then, Jasmine, this isn't a one and done thing, is it? We have to sustain this over time.
Oh, absolutely, Isabella. That's key. Fifth point, sustain over time. Self-love or compassion is a practice, not a one-off event. Research shows that its benefits really accumulate and that it fosters long-term stability. Journaling self-compassion reflections, repeating compassionate statements, or using apps can truly help keep that practice going. It's a lifelong journey, but one that is so worth it, honestly.
So, to wrap this up, Isabella, not having self-love as a foundation doesn't automatically mean disaster right away, but the risks are genuinely very real. Emotional instability, harsh self-criticism, reactive self-worth, physical health consequences, and relational issues. These are really not small costs to bear, are they?
No, they're absolutely not small. And on the flip side, building self-love, especially in the form of self-compassion, it really offers a steadier, much more resilient sense of self. It doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or never improving, It means loving and supporting yourself through that entire process.
Exactly. If anything we've discussed today resonates with you, starting this journey towards self-compassion might just be one of the most important investments you ever make.
It's truly transformative.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Foundations of Self, everyone. If you found value in today's conversation, please subscribe, share it with someone you care about, and really just reflect on how you treat yourself. And for those of you ready to take the next step, do check out self-compassion resources, books by Kristin Neff, meditations, or maybe talk with a coach or therapist. It's worth it.
Until next time, everyone, may you treat yourself with kindness.